How many of you listen to Immaculate Heart Radio? Some of you, I don't know if you listen to Patrick Madrid in the morning. I was driving to work and I heard something extraordinary on that. Amongst many things, it may not be the thing that you think I'm thinking, but I'm going to tell you. One of the things that he mentioned was that I guess last week, the Greek Orthodox celebrated their Easter, and a very important evangelical person was what they call, attended the Chrism Mass. That's what they call confirmation. Was confirmed in the Greek Orthodox faith, and that was Hank Hanegraaff. And you go, who is that? Hank Hanegraaff is the leader, or the I guess you would call him the leader, of what is now called the Christian Research Institute. What is that? It was, when I was a young man in college, it was formerly called the Bible Answer Man Program. And it was founded by a man named Dr. Walter Martin, who was known as the Bible Answer Man. He was, back then, and he wrote the definitive book that is still used in evangelical Christianity called Kingdom of the Cults. He founded, it's an apologetics organization that defends the historic Christian faith against Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses and all these people that Christian scientists, etc. And it is probably the equivalent of Catholic Answers. Let's put it that way. It is the Protestant or evangelical equivalent of Catholic Answers. It is the place to go if you want answers to your Christian faith from an evangelical perspective. Now, not all evangelicals, well, they have their own whatever, but for the most part, that is that. The leader, the one that took over from Dr. Walter Martin, Hank Hanegraaff, took the reins from him, has become a Greek Orthodox Christian. That is a huge shift. Huge. He's basically saying evangelicalism isn't the answer. That isn't Christianity. It's an enormous move. I'm saying he's coming to Rome via Constantinople. That's how I look at Greek Orthodoxy. You're coming to Rome because anyone who works in Christian apologetics, and what do I mean by apologetics? You mean apologize maybe, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a Christian. No. It means giving an answer for your faith. Why do you believe this stuff? Well, because that's an apologist. Someone who defends the faith. Okay? And so there are non-Catholic Christians who defend the faith and do it very well. I was hoping to be a part of the Bible Answer Man. That was my goal in life. If I could be a part of that and defend the faith, as well as Dr. Walter Martin did, I will have arrived. And in that process, I came across Roman Catholicism. And an honest look at Roman Catholicism brought me into the church. So when I hear someone like Hank Hanegraaff, the heir apparent to one of the largest, arguably the largest, most influential non-Catholic Christian apologetics program, converts to Greek Orthodoxy, that's extraordinary. That is big. I got goose pimples thinking about it as I was driving to work. I was like, Hank Hanegraaff converted. That's amazing. Which means he had to have come to the realization of things like the sacraments, their efficacy, apostolic succession. And it's like, that's just one more step to, well, all right, if the bishops are the descendants of the apostles, which is what apostolic succession says, then who's in charge of all the bishops? Because it seems to me that when Jesus left, he put one man in charge of the rest. And that, yes, Peter. So it's like in Greek Orthodoxy, what you have is each patriarch is the equivalent of the Pope. That's the one that's the ultimate authority. But that's not how it was in the early church. You go into the 2nd century and you hear Irenaeus talk about all churches must agree to Rome, because that was the one that was founded by Peter and Paul, the preeminent of the apostles. And that's the imprint that you get when you read early church history. So I'm like, we're one step closer to Rome. Now it's interesting, from a Greek Orthodox perspective, in the Eastern Rite churches, how do they view Peter? They view Peter as first among equals. That's how they view him. First among equals. Still first, but first among equals. And I got that, of all places, looking in a study Bible that was produced by the Greek Orthodox community. Very interesting. Very interesting. So it's like we're getting closer. And the influence that Hank Hanegraaff is going to have. I'm curious to know if he's still going to be in charge of the Christian Research Institute, or are they going to oust him because he's no longer evangelical in his perspective? Because evangelicalism is like this from liturgical worship. Absolutely 180 degree.
But how many people will follow him?
That just, but the fact that he converted will go out and people will go, wow. Why is the leader of the most influential Christian apologetics organization converting to something like Greek Orthodox? What does he see in it that I don't? What truth is there?
Is the Eastern Orthodox Church in full communion, or are they?
Well,
like the Russian church and stuff? Yeah.
The Second Vatican Council on the decree on the Eastern churches. I want to say the Latin phrase, but I'll butcher it. I know it's something ordinatalis, something orientalis, which means the decree on the relationship to the Eastern churches. They acknowledge they have valid orders, they have valid sacraments, they have true apostolic succession, they have a valid liturgy, they have all of this. And in an emergency circumstance, you can participate in an Eastern Orthodox church. If you're in Greece, if you're traveling in Greece and it's Sunday and you can't find a Catholic church for whatever reason, you can go to a Greek Orthodox church to fulfill your Sunday obligation. If they allow it. Now, the Greeks may not, but if, I doubt, much like anyone that comes to church here, I don't think anyone says, are you Greek Orthodox? You know, are you true, you know, but that is the understanding from the Latin church in relationship to the Greeks. This is not, you cannot fulfill your Sunday obligation going to a Baptist or a Presbyterian church or an Episcopalian one. Why? No valid orders, no valid sacraments, no valid Eucharist. You can't do it, but you can. That's how close the Greek Orthodox, the Eastern Rite churches are to the West.
So he's like on the brink.
He is on the brink. Yeah, that's why I found it extraordinary that this has occurred, because this is going to be a pebble in a pond effect in evangelicalism. You just watch.
You heard this today, but how recent was it?
It happened during the Chrism Mass, so it must have been on Sunday.
Yeah. Wow. It was like articles 5 or 7 hours ago on it.
Yes. Yes. So I'm curious now to tune into like Christian radio and see what repercussions or anything that they're talking or murmuring about, because this is no small movement.
Don't you think that's kind of the intent or the hope that will happen when they get together for the big Reformation meeting with the Catholics they plan on doing? The Pope has called all the, remember they're having the big...
Oh, Yes, I had heard about that.
The Pope is gonna call them all together and we're gonna have a meeting with the, I guess, in honor of, Martin Luther.
Right.
During the Reformation, and I
Mhm.
can't help but think that that might be a time when maybe, something like
Yes,
that.
since Vatican II, I mean, the Catholic Church has been in persistent dialogue with other Christian communities of all kinds to open up that true ecumenism. The decree on ecumenism has been so battered and so misunderstood. Don't take me there. You have not packed for that trip. But I will say this. True ecumenism will bring all people to the truth of Jesus and his church, led by his successor that he entrusted to Peter. That is what the goal of true ecumenism is. Anything else is not true ecumenism as understood by the Second Vatican Council. And you hear everything under the sun, some of the wackiest things, And it's like, that's baloney. It's baloney. Those people have never read the Vatican documents. I guarantee you, they never have. Because if you read them, it's very clear the goal of ecumenism is that all would be one, under one flock, one shepherd. That is the goal. And all the efforts that have been put forward by true ecumenists are to bring all Christians back to that unity of the faith, one Lord, one baptism, one shepherd that he has placed over all, and that meaning the Pope.
Here's the word chip. I'm not even going to begin to try to say it.
Orientalum Ecclesiarum. Yes, thank you. That's it. That's the decree on the Eastern churches. Thank you.